Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to that video. This is a paid request for Kingpin. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. I'll get to them as soon as I can. It could be any type of topic, reaction, commentary, review, re-review, video game playthrough, or whatever the case may be. And this time it is Thor, the 2011 film, which, now that I think about it, it's been a long time since I've seen this film. But I do remember enjoying it, and I still like it. Watch it again. This is when the Marvel Universe, the cinematic universe, man. I'm stumbling over my words because I just look at how it is nowadays and just, it's a shell of its former self. It's such a empty shell of his former self. And you look at this and you could tell at this time their heart was in the right place. It really was. Would I say it's a fantastic movie? I mean, I would put Iron Man above this. I would put the Captain America movies above this. But you know what? There's a lot of stuff it did get right. And it felt like more innocent. Innocent times in a strange way. Now, Thor 2011, that means Iron Man had come out, Iron Man 2 had come out, The Incredible Hulk. Maybe Captain America had come out? Maybe it was the same year as this. I don't know if this was before or after Captain America. Because after this, in 2012, you would have The Avengers. Now, Kenneth Branagh directed this. I thought that was actually kind of an interesting choice. But also kind of made sense because each time I think of Kenneth Branagh, I'm always thinking of, Hamlet and things of that nature. And I'm like, yep, that's usually the type of guy that would do Thor, the Shakespearean type of, articulation and drama and all this other stuff. At least to me. And they got Chris Hemsworth. I thought Chris Hemsworth did a pretty good job playing the character. And it's funny when you watch this, how different Chris Hemsworth is in this movie compared to others. Because in this one, I mean, maybe the fact that they actually had a character arc, maybe the fact that they actually kind of knew what to do with his character, so to speak. Because, okay, he's a cocky guy, and as his father says, you're a vain, greedy boy. Whereas then Thor says, you're an old man and a fool. And there's actually a story. They're actually taking it seriously. There's actually trying to be some drama. There's trying to be some pathos to it. It's not just a bunch of screaming goats and jokes and rock monsters trying to be funny and, hey, make sure we have a female Thor in there because, that shit needs to be more important than a story. And all this other crap. And I know Chris Hemsworth, it seemed like he found the Thor character boring. And so, well, we gotta liven it up. And Guardians of the Galaxy was very successful, so can we take a page out of that? And, there's humor in this. Don't get me wrong, there is humor, but it just felt more fitting for the character and the fish out of water quality and story, I should say. But it was still taking itself serious. Serious manner. And it's crazy looking back just how young, Chris Hemsworth and Tom Hiddleston and Natalie Portman, how all these folks looked like back in the day. And they had such energy to them. Probably because this is their first film, of the other stuff. And just how that went. Like Thor Ragnarok. I think, if I watch it, I do say I liked it, but I do see a lot more of the cracks in it. But I would say I probably liked the film. Love and Thunder I do not like. At all. Never did, never will. Thor 2 I thought sucked. I think Thor 2 sadly cemented the fate of Thor because... But they got the wrong director. They had a boring-ass script. Thor The Dark World is like one of the most boring MCU films out there. It really is. It's even hard... Like, there's stuff to get mad at, but it's just more because it's boring. But anyway... The story, you have Asgard, you have the Frost Giants, you have Thor and Loki as kids, and Anthony Hopkins as the teen, and there was this war, and he even lost his eye. It's many years later. There's a peace between the two races. Thor is supposed to be the new teen, possibly the new teen, but these enemies, these Frost Giants, they come in and try to attack in the weapons room. They get dealt with. Thor is angry and pissed off. How the hell could they have gotten in here? Anthony Hopkins pretty much tells him, hey, take a chill pill. And Loki, being the conniving twerp that he is, plays innocent as if he had nothing to do with it. But Thor at this point, we gotta teach them and break their spirits. Pretty much the makings of what could be a very harsh, cruel ruler. Like he's doing with his friends. It's not that he's an evil guy, it's just that he thinks force is what makes or break everything. And takes his buddies, the other warriors, which sadly they got lost quite a bit in the shuffle in the sequels. And a lot of them got killed off, which I thought was a mistake. To make room for Tessa Thompson and a rock monster that tried to be funny. And it's just sad that Ray Stevenson is one of them. May he rest in peace. But I actually thought these four were decent and they worked well with each other and they were nice compadres for Thor. And the fact that again they pretty much got rid of pretty much all of them is just outright ridiculous in my opinion. Idris Elba plays the guy who runs the bridge. I think I remember reading Idris Elba wasn't really happy with his role. I guess that's why in Thor Ragnarok they gave him a little bit more to do. Which is fine because it's Idris Elba. But I didn't think his character was bad. I thought, he was sturdy and strong. And still had a bit of loyalty where he was able to be lenient on Thor. He's not supposed to let people through the bridge, but he's also curious at how someone got through without him noticing. So he lets them go. Or later on, when the others wanted to get Thor, he said, well, I'm under a new team. I can't do it. But he walks away. He can't do it, but it doesn't mean it won't open by itself. So, it was still nice to see Idris Elba in there. Anthony Hopkins brings a sense of studious importance to being Thor's father. Odin. He seems like the perfect casting choice because Anthony Hopkins is a great actor. It's Anthony Hopkins, come on now. Why not? He's such a fantastic actor. And it doesn't seem like he's sleepwalking. Seems like he actually is fine with being there. When it's like, you're a vain, greedy boy. Or when he admits at the end that he's proud of him. I am proud of you. But Thor is full of bravado, so him and his friends and Loki go over to the Frost Giants, and they get into this big battle and fight. And God forbid, we get to see Thor actually worth a crap. Kicking ass, taking names, using his power, using his hammer, not being a fat ass. Not being, oop, I fell. Oops, I knocked in this. Oops, I knocked in that too. Golly gee, I guess I'm so stupid. I don't know what I'm doing. Whoops. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Although I will be honest, at least he got a great badass moment in Thor Ragnarok when, that music. Da, da, da. I will admit that was badass. So that was cool. But I didn't see any of that coolness in Love and Thunder. And again, maybe because this, it's like they try to have a character arc in other ones, but sadly they just become the same thing over and over again. Him trying to like learn the same type of lesson over and over again. So it's like after this, they didn't know where the hell to take the character. So let's just make it maybe goofier, make it sillier, and that was their answer. And it worked a bit with Ragnarok, although considering it's supposed to be one of the most dire circumstances of their world, I'm not sure if all the humor is really appropriate when their home is being leveled. I know my friend Michael Keane, he hated Thor Ragnarok. And when he gave his reasons, like, I don't hate the film, but when he gave his reasons, I can understand with how silly they took the the destroying of Asgard and all this other stuff. I can understand that. But yeah, I mean, the arc is that he's full of bravado, he's cocky. So one of the bad guys gives him a comment about calling him a princess. He gets pissed off. He starts fighting everybody. The Grand Live is very CGI overload. To be fair, so it's not as if that's my favorite type of action. My favorite type of action is more of the John Woo, practical, hard target, broken arrow, hard boiled, or the early Rambo films, or martial arts scenes. That's more my cup of tea. But at least Thor does get some badass moments. To see Kenneth Branagh is like, we gotta give him these really cool, like give him a moment where he just slams down and the whole world crumbles and everybody flies up. Oh, there's a creature. Give him a moment where he flies through and flies right into the creature's mouth and it leaves a big old hole in the back of its throat. I'm like, yeah, to give these, try to do these badass moments for Thor. I can appreciate that. He loves a challenge. He loves a fight. So when he gets hit, he's like, that's more like it. And starts fighting them some more. But then things take a turn. Anthony Hopkins comes in, gets everybody out, calls Thor an asshole. You're screwing up the peace treaty. What the hell? You know what? You're not a teen. You ain't worth it. You called me a fool. Kiss my ass. You're immortal. Go to Earth, bitch. Learn something. Mind your manners. Eat your vitamins. And tip your waitresses. So, it didn't work out for him. Now, to be honest, it's not action. It's not a ton of action in the movie. You have that opening. Well, you have the opening with Anthony Hopkins. You have the bit with Thor, fighting there, and then, other than one bit where he's trying to infiltrate and he's mortal, so he's kicking some people. Really, it's not until the third act where he fights this one automaton. I guess maybe the big. So it's not like wall-to-wall action is what I'm getting at. But at least when it's there, it's stuff that is pertaining to something and matters. Is not just thrown in there just to be a piece of random business. One thing I guess I completely forgot about, how much Kenneth Branagh loves his Dutch angles. There are so many scenes where he took the camera and went like this. Watch it again and notice how many times the camera's on an angle here or an angle here, where characters are kind of, the camera's tilted so they're over here, or they're just over here. Or a sign is now looking like this. I did not realize he did, granted, not as much as Battlefield Earth, but man, he did a lot. So I will say it kind of got a bit annoying after a bit, because I'm like, dude, you do it a bit too much. But it wasn't Battlefield Earth bad, but it was definitely enough for me to notice. I did like Natalie Portman and Stellan Skarsgård, great actor. I forgot who the other girl was. I didn't mind her. Pretty much they're all looking at this wormhole that appeared they hit someone, they take them in, they take him to a hospital, then they realize, wait a minute, there may be something more to this guy, so they ultimately do find him. And then you have, of course, the fish out of water. I do think they could have gotten a bit more comedy out of the fish out of water, but I guess, to be fair, it does. I think there's dialogue that they've been to Earth before, or at least they know of Earth, so he's not. What is that? What is a car? You know what? It's not going to be that type of thing. So I guess I can understand that because you don't want to make him a complete dumbass like later films did. But maybe just a tad more of that fish out of water quality. But I did, there was a bit where he drinks it and he smashes the cup. And then now said, well, you just asked. I meant no offense. Even that, doesn't even have to be comedy, but that little bit where he's doing stuff that he expects one thing, but it's really not how you're supposed to conduct yourself. Maybe like a couple more of those where we really start the humbling process. But yeah, I thought Stellan Skarsgård and Natalie Portman, they were good as the researchers. Natalie Portman and Chris Hemsworth, they have a nice chemistry with each other. Seems very nice, very heartfelt. They're good together. This is where you get the Shield Corporation, and you get, what's his name? Clark Gregg. He's in the film as Phil Coulson. Which I'm curious. What all did he do with Phil Coulson? I'm kind of curious. Let me look. There's the event. There's the Avengers. He was in Captain Marvel because that was a flashback. And then he was on that TV show. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. 136 episodes, 2013 to 2020. Wow. And then web series of Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. He was in What If episodes. Huh, well there you go. Damn. So he definitely got some mileage out of that. Hey, good for him. Because he wasn't bad. I liked him in those movies. But yeah, S.H.I.E.L.D. comes in because the hammer landed. They don't know how they get this hammer out of there. Thor wants to go there. It's nighttime. He beats up a couple of S.H.I.E.L.D. guys. Which is alright. I mean, there's nothing to run home about. But there's a nice slow-mo drop kick that he does. You have the introduction of Hawkeye, Jeremy Renner. Sally doesn't really get to do anything. He kind of aims and says, you better say something. I'm starting to like this guy. But then when Thor realizes he can't pick it up, he just gives up. And then Hawkeye doesn't do anything. So it's sad that you bring up Hawkeye, but you don't give him anything to do. So, I mean, you're still introducing the character, but still he's like, he doesn't really do anything. And then the Avengers, he's controlled for... But I guess you do, even when controlled, and then after, he does get to showcase some of his skills, to be fair. So it was nice to see. I like Jeremy Renner, so it's nice to see him in there. I almost forgot he was in this, but then I'm like, oh, I see hands and they pick up a bow and arrow. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. He picks up the bow. Okay, yep, now I know who it is. Like I said, it's been a while since I've seen this. And I would say, like I said, watching the film again, I forgot how quaint it is. Whereas like Thor in this small town, middle of nowhere, some nice scenes with Natalie Portman where they share some good chemistry and bonding moments, where you really feel the love they have for each other. Meanwhile, Loki becomes king. He, of course, he's a trickster, so he goes and lies to Thor saying, our dad died because of you, and your mom says you gotta stay here, and kind of breaks it down mentally. So I thought that was kind of a nice but cruel trick that Loki played. But it was like, it made sense. Like, I wanted to keep this guy, his spirits down, and you know, there's no more point in me trying to kill him. I'll just do it this way. I mean, I guess to be fair, well, I guess I don't know. It just depends on. Well, no, he did want to kill Thor. I'm surprised he didn't just kill Thor there, where he had the thing, and the guy's mortal just do something and poop, just kill him. Although, I guess to be fair, maybe he couldn't be there physically, to just be there like a projection type of thing, perhaps. So that could be why as well. He couldn't do anything to him physically. That's why he had to bring the automaton later. So that could be it, to be fair. Like I said, it's not a whole lot of action. Tom Hiddleston does a good job as Loki. Chris Hemsworth, very capable job as Thor. You can really feel the sense of him changing his ways. Feeling a bit more humble. Him talking with Stellan Skarsgård at the bar about how this is the first time in my life I have no idea what I'm supposed to do, and Stellan tries to give him a bit of advice. It was a nice little scene there. Even the finale, I guess in the retrospect, it's kind of nice to see, because we see so many movies now where the whole world blows up and the whole city blows up, and it just sadly become meaningless now. So here's just a little town, and not even the whole town blows, just a couple things. Some of them done practically. I did like the look of automaton. Remind me of the day the earth stood still. I was ready for someone to say Klaatu brought a Nikto. But I do like the look of that destroyer, so to speak. Thor stands up to it. Come and take me. Takes the hit. Proved his worthiness. That's the power again. Beats the thing pretty easily. Pretty much swirls him up. Flies towards. So the hammer's right at his face and it melts it. I kind of wish there was a bit more of a fight. Kind of wish there was a bit more of a battle. A bit more of a back and forth on the ground. With flies that hit me in the face. Oh no, it's not a... No, there wasn't it. I don't know what the hell that was. Yeah, it was a damn fly. Not even a fly, but it's one of those little... It's a more tinier bug. But that's Texas for you. Got even inside, you can't be careful with the bugs. So there you go. Oh well, you asshole. Get out of here. I don't know where he went, but I see him again, he's dead. I guess I don't like my critique of the fight, but fuck you, Fly. I'm going to say the same thing again. Fuck you, Fly. I'm saying the same thing, I'll repeat it. I think the fight could have been longer. You want to hit me again? You little asshole? Yeah, I think the fight could have been better. I would like some back and forth. Maybe like tearing apart, you know, it breaks his legs, and it breaks his arms, and it breaks his head off or something. I don't know. I would like to have a bit longer. But I guess they made that short because they had to get to the bit with him and Loki, where they have a bit of a battle, which then Thor gets the idea to break the bridge. Although, I mean, they're like, oh, you'll never see her again. Of course, eventually he does, because... We know eventually he does, because he's got to get to Earth for Avengers. So, it's not gonna, it kind of... The drama of that isn't really too much merit nowadays, because even then it's like, you know he's going to come to Earth, so it's not like breaking this bridge is really going to ruin anything for him. He won't get poontang that night, but he will soon enough. But anyway, it is what it is. You know, the special effects are fine for its time. It's 2011, so there's going to be stuff that don't really hold up the best. But it's 2011. I'm not going to harp on it too much. Yeah, I would say it probably still is my favorite Thor film. Like I said, I did like the art that Chris Hemsworth has. Yeah, it's a typical art, but I think it's the art that still works. And I think I liked his performance the most here as Thor. This one just felt the most like Thor to me. And just, I felt like it was the most the character was taken seriously. I felt like Kenneth Branagh has a certain respect for the character, if that makes sense. And Tom Hiddleston does a good job as Loki. Natalie Portman's very sweet in her role. Stellan Skarsgård was kind of a nice substitute father figure for him when Anthony Hopkins was away. You also have Renee Russo as his mom, as Thor's mom. Can't forget her. Do enjoy her as an actress ever since I first saw her in Lethal Weapon 3. She was in Outbreak and other films. Overall, I would say I liked it. I still liked the film. Yeah, I still like it. And lo and behold, under 2 hours. The film is under 2 hours, doesn't overstay its welcome. It's not 2 hours and 30 or 2 hours and 20. You know, it doesn't overstay its welcome, and that was nice to see. So, yeah, I don't know what else to say. I still think it holds up pretty decently, at least to me. With that said, thanks for watching. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye for now.